Welcome back to Midwest eSports Formula One Division 2 tonight in Monza, Italy.
Yes, the Temple of Speed. I believe this is the first time that the pair of us, the duo here, has returned to Monza since the first time we called a race, which wasn't even for Midwest Racing. So I believe it was just about a year ago, a little over a year, I think about a year and a month. Since we have been here in Monza. So a really cool little bookmark in our history book here on the channel. But the drivers in Division 2, this is the first time that we are dipping our toes into Division 2 action in Season 12. We have been up with the D1 crowd, but my goodness, the parity in Division 2 right now is phenomenal. I mean, we have 5 and 6 drivers contending for drivers champion, and we're just at the halfway point of the season. So there is a guarantee for plenty of action here in one of the fastest circuits, if not the fastest circuit on the calendar. We're in for one hell of a treat here tonight.
We are, and there's several drivers that we have seen. I'm sure I'm going to miss some of them, but Lancey, Cake Thomas, Final Flame, Electric Blade, Ayahuasca, Brian Mosser, Hightower, Lost Mandingo, Slayer Ice Gabney. We've seen them in different divisions and maybe even Division 2 when we've covered it. So I'm excited to see how things have changed since we were here last.
Absolutely. I know it was a treat last year when we were with Division 2 as well. So yeah, happy to see some of these faces staying here. Happy to see some new names as well up on the grid. We're going to get all into the substitutions for a few teams. I believe we have 4 substitute drivers here tonight. Those will be Chief Braids will be racing for Alfa Romeo in place of the Nogginator. For Alpha Tauri, it is Call Me Maybe tonight in place of MMR Adultonian. And for the Haas, it will be Shelly the Turtle or Logan in for Wild Poros, sorry. And finally, Fin 2. And we are on board with Shelly the Turtle / Logan. Should we go with Turtle or should we go with Logan? Should we go with Shells? What are we thinking?
Ooh, this probably going to go with what is here on the board to the left. So Shelly the Turtle is the easiest, I think. Trying to look Shelly up on the Drivers' Championship. I think D4?
May have. I do know that there were a few drivers coming from D3 who have a new seat. I believe, someone correct me in chat if I am wrong here, I believe Lancey moved up to replace Valentine in D2. Not sure what happened to Valentine, what that storyline is, but there are a few drivers who have made the hop up for a full-time spot, but Shelly may be racing up a division or two here tonight. What'd you find out?
I could not find the name to match up correctly. We have had drivers sometimes sub in that. We also got the weather update for today's race. It is going to be a dry qualification and a dry race.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
Sorry, I dropped internet for a second, I guess.
Looks like your voice is still in, though, which is good.
Awesome.
You're at least back in that.
All right,
did you miss the weather update?
Yeah, I sure did.
Dry quali and dry race.
Beautiful. Oh, you love to see it. It's been a wet couple last weeks up in D1, so yeah, it would be very nice to see these cars running under full power, full speed, full beans, you know,
in the
just
Temple
all
of
of
Speed.
it. Full open. Just full open. How many times am I going to say Temple of Speed tonight?
I think that was the first time. It's probably in your intro. I'm going to say several more times if we get some collisions. I'll talk about how fast the track is and how dangerous that can be when you get to some of these hairpin corners. It looks like Nick dropped again on the internet, so hopefully he'll be popping in and out throughout this race. So far, the fastest lap going to Shelly the Turtle and Haas with a 1:19. Haas Mandingo's crossing over the line with a 1:23.59. Do have about 10 minutes left in quali, so we'll see some faster lap times as we get closer to the end of that. About half the grid has their lap time down right now. New fastest lap going to Fire Up Flow in the Ferrari by 5/100ths of a second, excuse me. And now we have Hightower going across the line on the medium tires. Interesting for the start of qualification. Wondering if he is trying to get some of these warm-up laps set before switching to the soft tires. Medium tires can be up to a second slower depending on the game and the track. But currently sitting in 15th. Just a couple drivers left to set their lap. Looks like Reimer in the Aston Martin is going out for his first attack on the track. Reimer currently sitting atop of the Drivers' Championship with 168 points. Just behind him is Lancey in the McLaren at 149, and Seye Hines forever is in third with a 148. He currently has pole position in the race. Hey, I see you pop back. Very weird. Could not see you in this at all. Reimer just going up to second. The 119.153. I got to get your voice back on stream too, so give me just one moment. Going to try to do that without causing a major disruption to the stream. We'll see. There's a way to do this right, and I guarantee I am not going to do it that way.
Check.
And if we just go to...
I see it in the mixer.
This. Okay, I think I did that.
Ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
I think we're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Bell on the comps here. Thank you. Thank you for keeping this absolute dumpster fire afloat. Much like the one in my backyard in the Baltimore Harbor right now. I was telling you that you were talking about Ferrari going, having a good lap. They're stacked right now in 4th and 5th. And they're also still number 1 in the Constructors Championship. They've been holding that pretty firmly since week 2 of this season. So Ferrari dominant in the points. However, let me see. I'm all flustered now. See what happens here.
Let's say not so much in the drivers, if that's what you're trying to look at.
Yes, thank you.
Now, I'm going to look real quick. They may have had a driver change after this season. Who we have? It's Electric Blade and Fire Up Flow, correct?
Yes.
That has been the team all season. They did finish 2nd and 3rd, or they were in 2nd and 3rd for the Drivers' Championship after round 2, 3rd and 4th after round 3, and then they started to break up a little bit. But I think it's just a case of having 2 drivers in the top. You see the top of the drivers?
Ferrari is in 1st for the Constructors. However, they are not in the top 3 for drivers.
Yes, and McLaren has Lancey and Kate Thomas.
Correct.
So I believe one of those drivers would have dropped down because they would have kept their, or has jumped up. So if Lancey or Kate Thomas is raced up in D1, they would get to bring those driver points back down to D2, but not the team points.
Correct. I'm fairly certain that we've seen Lancey in D1 this season already.
I believe so.
Yeah, so that would make sense.
That's where the tables get a bit weird. It's the drivers keep their points, so if they race up a division or 2, they tend to jump higher in the Drivers' Championship. They're earning points at a faster rate, even if they finish in a worse spot. But then the team, they would have a D3 call-up or no one racing that week, which can mess with their team standings.
On board now with... we were on board with one of the McLarens, but we are on board with the Alpine of Ayahuasca right now, who was last week's champion in Qatar at Lusail Circuit. I'm sure that was a wonderful race. Apologies, not have time to do my homework and watch the highlights, but Ayahuasca walking in with their first victory on the season. They are in company with, if I can scroll, with Seiya, Final Flame, and Reimer. So only 4 drivers in the first 6 weeks of racing. 4 drivers have sat atop the podium, which is more parity than we have seen in other leagues. So it's wonderful in other divisions. Sorry. Seiya goes fastest now with a 1:18.8, cracking that 1:18 for the first time here tonight.
He was on a good pace coming into the final corner, and then looks like he got a nice slipstream from someone going into the pits. Just give him that little boost of speed to cross the finish line, edging out Final Flame by 0.2 of a second. So we got about 5.5 minutes left in quali. We'll see if Final Flame or Reimer or Ayahuasca can improve on those times. that's where you start to get into having to catch a draft at some point on the track by a driver that is on their in lap or on their out lap, and a little bit of a slide by Seiya.
I'm going Seiya. Yeah. Seiya. Sure. Well, we better get used to it. If the Williams is going to be this high up in the grid here for today's race, we're going to be saying it quite a lot. They are both up in the top of the points, and they are now stacked 5th and 6th. The McLarens heading out for, well, Kate Thomas is out on track. Lancey is now in the pits. On board with Ray in the Alfa Romeo. Ray, another name that I am very familiar with and have missed calling. So hi, Ray. Very happy to be calling one of those races again. Also, hi to the 3 viewers that are watching us on YouTube right now. What's up, George? Go Reimer. And Doc Worthy Dames is up in
Canada.
Is that that says,
I believe it's the Canadian flag emoji, and it just shows up.
Oh, okay.
It throws me every time.
I was like, am I having a stroke right now? Cheers from Canada, Doc Worthy Dames. Mama Bell tuning in from the great White North. Shelly the Turtle is out of the running for Q1N only, currently in 10th. We'll see if that can hold for the Haas, as the other drivers still attempt to best their standing laps, trying to catch up to that 118 of Seiya.
Ooh,
he had
final
a Haas
flame.
in the wall.
Spun out, was in second, and may have been on a good pace for a lap. Reimer going into sector 2, looks like 0.2 of a second faster. That would put him into second, but he's got a lot of track left, so we'll see if he's able to catch up to Seiya.
It's very interesting to see the different strategies through the divisions as well. You go up into D1, you see a driver like Scarenzi, who is... Sorry, I was trying to multitask and failed miserably. Scarenzi, who will wait oftentimes in the mix, in the middle of the pack during qualifying until the final 2 minutes when he starts to turn on the heat to really set his pace. The strategy there, just trying to undercut everybody at the last minute. But as we can see, I mean, Seiya, Final Flame, and Reimer, and Ayahuasca, the 4 winners on the season already are 1 through 4 on the grid. So they're making their presence known early on, and they're holding it fairly confidently.
It looks like there's the gap is around 3 to 4, position 3 to 4, but overall the grid is pretty good. We have almost 12 drivers within a second of each other. Leaves plenty of room for people to move up and down, especially in that 4 through 12, 13. Normally you want to be like half a second variation off of yourself, but we're going to get these final good laps in. Had some drivers on medium tires to start this quali, so seeing some people on soft tires will improve their times a bit.
Definitely. Want to say hey to JR in the chat. You guys are still at it. I met you guys way back in Steep. I participated in the first Tartiflet games. JR, what was your gamer tag?
I'm trying to look up
is that the Sheriff. Would that be the Sheriff?
TFG right now.
I cannot remember.
And then I gotta figure, how did you find it now? Did you just see we were streaming, or are you a fan of MidWest and did this come full circle?
Yeah, oh my gosh. Could you imagine that? I followed D2. I have a buddy racing in D2, and I just so happened to join your X Games tournament that started a whole chain of events for our YouTube careers back in 2016. Oh my gosh. Almost like 10 years ago.
The Sheriff, which I believe was the Poop Sheriff.
Sash, it was the Poop Sheriff. Yeah, I just wasn't saying the first
Harbor.
part.
And then you and me.
Sashweed and Harbor. Yeah, and I believe Sash was from Australia.
Oh, yeah. Sash was Australia. I have the sheet right here.
Who does it make sense
Harbor
to be
was from Toronto.
Okay.
And Sheriff was from Dallas.
Okay. All right. So we could still... Yeah. So, JR, let us know, please. How did you find us again? Very nice to see you and hear from you. Not sure if you stayed up with the channel, but go take a quick look. Yeah, I got it right. It was the poop share.
Look at you.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, man. We've gone around the world doing that stuff now. It's that's wild. Fun. That's great. Nice to see you again.
I believe he was the winner too. Looking at the final scores, he was the winner of the first ever TFG. That's royalty.
Oh my gosh, for real. Like the absolute OG. Ooh. We have a McLaren taking it off-road here. It is not the Dakar Rally. But Cake Thomas once again taking a stroll through the garden. We've seen that a couple of times through Cake's career there, but most of the times that's usually on inclement weather when the track is wet and gross. Not when it's bright sunny. Maybe he saw a nice dandelion, the last dandelion that he just had to have.
I was always distracted by those when I played soccer as a kid.
Oh, me too, dude. Baseball. I got a black eye once because I was picking dandelions.
Fastest lap time with a 1:18.777. Let's go.
Shaving just about a 10th off of their standing time right at the buzzer. We do have the remaining time on track to allow these cars to cross the line and set their times, but Seye is setting a blistering pace right now, and it's going to be hard to catch that Williams if they're able to get off the line in time.
Final Flame was unable to. It looks like Ayahuasca is going to be coming around. We don't have an updated time for them, but I don't believe they'll jump. They'll jump into third. Reimer also coming around the corner, see if he can take that spot back. He does, so he will start third. Lancey going into the pits, so I believe that sets the final grid.
Look at that. 1 through 4 all have grabbed gold hardware in Season 12 already. Will one of them be able to add to the collection, or will one of those McLarens finally be able to break this pack and get one for the Papayas? We are going to wait for the final standings here for qualifying as the drivers round up, but this is looking like your provisional lineup for the Italian Grand Prix.
Sounds like we might get Knuckles in the race too oh, he is in the race for Red Bull.
Beautiful.
I saw some comments just a minute. Did he get a lap? He got invited pretty late.
Oh, wow. He was a late entry. Jeez.
Yeah, and still got the qualifying.
Wow. Look at that. Knuckles coming in cold. Welsh driver up in 7th already. All of these drivers qualified on softs. We'll see what the tire strategies look like here as we head back to the Temple of Speed for the 7th race in Season 12 of Midwest eSports Formula 1 Division 2. Stay tuned. It's on Nick and Mitch. Welcome to the hallowed hills of northern Italy. The Tifosi are in the house tonight, likely on the couch watching from just down the hall. Before us this evening lies the historic Autodromo Nazionale Monza, constructed back in 1922 and still touted as the fastest track in Formula One. The Temple of Speed is sure to provide an exhilarating contest here. Welcome, one and all, to Week 7 of Season 12 of the Italian Grand Prix. Monza is all about balls-to-the-wall racing. A ripshot 3.6-mile course composed of only 11 turns will push these cars to their absolute limits. One mistake here, and your race can vanish faster than Nick DeVries' career. Get ready for flat-out, pedal-to-the-metal race filled with audacious overtaking attempts and strategic gambles. Talking about strategy department, let's take a look at whose strat has paid off in the front half of this season. Mitch?
Well, looking at the Drivers' Championship, Reimer for Aston Martin is in first place with 168 points. He's followed by Lancey with 149 and Seiya with 148. We have many drivers close by, though, 10 of them over 100 points. Looking at the Constructors' Cup, Ferrari is in the lead with 272. Aston Martin and Alpine are tied at 254, and McLaren is right behind with 246. Williams rounds out the top 5 of the pack. Then you can see a somewhat significant gap before you hit Red Bull, Mercedes, Haas, AlphaTauri, and Alfa Romeo. So some bouncy starts for those teams. We'll see if they can close the gap between the top 5 and the bottom 5. See if we will have a new Constructors Champion leader after today's race.
I may not be able to read my opening script, but I know this part by heart. From Monza, this is Midwest eSports Formula One Division 2 on Nick and Mitch. It was a little rough around the edges right there, but it's okay. These drivers are not focused on the introduction of today's broadcast. They're focused on the race at hand as they are under their formation lap, getting ready to line up on the grid here in Italy. Let's take a look at the possible race strategies for the tire comps. You have a 1 or 2 stop race, depending on how hard this action hits. This is a fast track, so if you get caught in a pack or in a little DRS train, you may be wearing through your tire allotment a little faster than your initial strategy predicted. So it will come down to a lot of different elements here to see how this race pays off for these drivers. But as we take a look now, there is a decent mix of all 3 compounds. The majority goes to the mediums, with just 2 drivers on softs and 4 on hards.
We have a very interesting mix. Looks like Seiya is going to go for the long haul here at the start. Cake Thomas starting on soft tires. He is behind his teammates, so that one's very interesting. Normally you'd want that soft tire driver in front, so he's going to have to go for a pass early on. They're starting next to each other on the grid, though, and I think Cake is going to have the inside going into turn 1. So that'll be a bit dicey as well. It's going to be interesting. Turn 1 notorious at this track, as you have the drivers slowing down very hard, making a tight right, and then going on a wide bending left.
I mean, Cake Thomas as well, also notorious for, let's just say, some spirited racing strategy. We'll see if both of these McLarens make it out of the first lap. That could be dicey. But yeah, if he's on the inside of this right-hand turn, he could very well take the advantage. We are away. Lights are out. We are racing in week 7 of action here in Division 2 as we head down the main stretch. It is the Haas of Final Flame that overtakes the Williams. They go back and forth into turn 1. The Williams is able to stay on course as he is bumped out by the Haas. Final Flame takes the lead. Reimer gets through in the Aston Martin, pushing Seiya back into 3rd place. That was a very, very cheeky introduction to the first chicane, but all 3 drivers able to handle that relatively unscathed. I'm sure Seiya and the Williams not happy with that start, but Final Flame got the better jump and had the better hand heading down into turn 1, 2, and then out of 3.
Looks like Chief Blades picked up a caution flag, dropping down to the bottom, but was back on track. You can see Seiya dropping 2, Knuckles dropping 3 off the jump, and Fireflow jumping up 2 positions. So nice little shake up at the start. Lancey and Cake Thomas keeping their positions.
Absolutely, yeah. And Knuckles now down into 10th, like you said, dropping 3 positions. Maybe it wasn't the best strategy to start today's race on a cold rig, but, you know, life happens sometimes. So Knuckles will take the hand that he was dealt and roll with it. A 124.9 goes to Final Flame up atop here as we have a bit of rubbing down into turn 1. That is a Williams and an Alpine. They lock up as we have 4 bricked 2x2 into the first chicane. If you weren't puckering through that one, there's something wrong with you.
That is, I don't know, one of the scariest turns that you have in all of F1. You come around Parabolica and then down the long straight, DRS zone, slam on the brakes, go to the right. You can see the drivers locking up. I gotta charge my controller here.
Yeah, you do. It happens to the best of us. It looked like Reimer was trying to get the best of Final Flame as well there, out of turn 4 into 5 as we head into the DRS zone, which has yet to be activated. Things are really going to start to heat up, and we're really going to start to see these overtakes on this massive back straight. Once DRS is active, that should come into play next lap. So we'll stand by for that as we see a very imposing wall, a 6-car DRS train with potential for just absolute chaos here once it is underway. Reimer doesn't need it, though. He's going to try on the inside line. Down the stretch he goes. It's Reimer, but it's Ayahuasca who bests him out. Sorry, it's DB DeBest who takes the fastest lap for Mercedes with a 1-2-3-1. Reimer goes in on the inside, passes Final Flame. Will he be able to hold it? They lock up front and back tire of those two through turn 1. They're going to drop some time to the interval behind them, but some very, very risky race maneuvers here from the front of the pack. They are leaving everything out on the track tonight. And we have a spun Aston Martin. That is Los Mandingos down in 19th place now as Aston Martin bookends this grid.
We're back underway. Surprised that we've made it through 3 laps without having an actual safety car drawn out, but drivers going off track, getting in the grass. The one nice thing about Monza, the dangerous spots have a lot of, like, you can drive through the corner, drive through the gravel. There's not many dangerous spots that you're going to go off track and smash into a wall. It's just more of locking up and missing an S or a chicane and, just barreling through it to the other side.
Some could argue that that's almost worse than having a wall right there. If you mess up and you hit a wall and your car explodes, you're done for the day and your car is retired, you're done. You stand up, you go sit on the couch, and you tune into Nick and Mitch to watch the rest of the race. BD DeBest getting the best of their previous final lap. It is now Final Flame and Reimer going into it once again into turn 1 through 3. Ayahuasca had a little horse in that race, but will be relegated down to third once again. Trying to take the inside on Reimer here. Could hold it. Gosh, these drivers are pushing hard early in this race. It's going to be incredible to watch them hold this pace through the rest of tonight. If they can. I mean, my gosh, this is where that tire strategy is going to come into play. They are definitely running these cars hard right now.
And no one breaking away significantly. Looks like we're getting a bit of a gap between 8 and 9 and some scattering, but the top, calling a lot of the D1 races the past few weeks, the front runners often gotten out to a 1, 2, 3 second gap. Been pretty safe, but not at this track. A lot of very tight, hairy corners and drivers going for that pass in D1. They're having to do a lot of strategy deciding if they want to be inside or outside, and they want to try and not dive bomb, but squeak through at the beginning, or if they want to really fast exit and try and overtake. Looks like Reimer's going to go around the outside of Final Flame, and Ayahuasca is going to follow him. I think that's a second lap where driver 2, driver 3 are able to get some massive DRS and attack the front runner.
Shelly the Turtle has been dropping a few positions here in the opening 5 laps. I believe we've been watching Shelly drop maybe 2 or 3 positions in the last 2 laps or so. Now back to where they started this race in 11th. I'm not sure if that is just racing ability, not grabbing the line, or if there's something possibly wrong with the Haas. We will keep an eye on that in the middle of today's pack. I want to say thank you again to JR for tuning in. Hopefully you're still watching. It is surreal. Like I was taken aback for just a minute at what has happened since the last time that we talked. That was fun. Probably won't be the last time that I say that tonight. That really, really threw me off in the best way possible.
I don't know if
Ray.
you're going to say that more or Temple of Speed more. There goes Reimer.
Reimer spinning like a top here through Sector 3. Dropping down into 8th goes the Aston. Yeah, they were pushing very, very hard. Ayahuasca now taking the lead for the first time here tonight. Final Flame following. Lancey in 3rd. Seye now in 4th, trying to get back up onto the grid spot. But yeah, very, very interesting. Upset that we didn't get that 100%, or I didn't see it at least on screen. But we do know that Reimer and Final Flame are getting very, very close through those corners. Not sure who was unsafe, if anybody, but I know that they have definitely made contact already in today's race. So not the biggest surprise, but unfortunate nonetheless.
Looks like Final Flame almost slid out in that corner too, so he's going to drop back. Ayahuasca getting closer to pulling that 1 second gap, but as they enter another DRS zone, that will almost disappear for him. Looks like we have another flag and a safety car.
Race. Slayerized in the Red Bull out of this race. He is in the wall.
Three-quarters of a Red Bull now.
Not going anywhere. The whole front end of that thing is blown to bits. Let's see. We do have a safety car. So do we want to do an ad read? Do we want to give a brief spark notes to JR about
I think
what the channel has looked like since
ad
we
read.
talked to him last?
It's a lot of TFG. There's a playlist, I believe.
On a TFG, but like we went to France, we went to Poland, we did things with the X Games, we talked to Brando Graham and Tom Wallish. We've talked to the game directors of Steep and Riders Republic. I think it's the same guy.
I think it has been.
Yeah. We went to France, and then we went to France again.
You mean Montreal?
We went to Montreal, which is
I
like
think we went to
France,
France
but
twice.
over here.
Is that what you meant?
Didn't we go to France twice? No. We need to go to France again. Yeah, Montreal. Yeah. Fun times. And it all started from that one little event that we threw up on Reddit, and 4 guys said, yeah, we'll do this. Cool.
So he's saying that love that we do it live and we can tell much more comfortable. Yeah, it's been like 8 or 9. No, whoa, 10?
Yeah. You're correct.
Yeah, like 10 years
Yeah.
commentating.
Almost
So
10
we
years.
picked up our pattern working with each other.
Yeah.
And F1's very nice now that we watched it to do live commentary.
Yeah.
I can't find I'll find it here. The
Find the old
ad
one.
reads. I have used Gemini way too much in the past week for work.
Well, I do have the OG. I do have Flintlock if we wanted to hit one.
I think I got a better one somewhere.
All right. Okay. So if you are new to the stream or have not tuned in one of our Division 1 streams yet, this year we have been using and abusing Google's AI Gemini.
Yep.
And Mitch has been asking it to come up with ad reads to read during safety cars here at a Formula 1 race. So it's been unhinged. We've had a couple gems, and there was one that he was hinting at, and I told him, please hold on to it until the next race. This is the first safety car we've had in the last 2 weeks, so it's finally time.
Oh, I don't even know which one I hinted at. I have a slightly different one, I think.
We'll be right back after these messages.
That is the song that we wrote for this. Here it is. All right. This is set up more of like an infomercial read, but it starts with the sound of F1 engines revving, crowd cheering intensely. Where they right now? Eyes locked on the leader, tires wearing thin. It's anyone's race at this point. But wait, are those pesky pre-race jitters turning your palms into miniature waterfalls? Is steering wheel slippage costing you precious seconds? Does victory sometimes slip through your fingers? Literally. Then you need Ultra Grip racing gloves, infused with the adhesive power of 1,000 enraged geckos.
Whoa!
Engineered with biomimetic nanofiber technology, these gloves give you superhuman grip on that steering wheel. No more sweaty slides, no more embarrassing spins, just pure gecko-powered precision. Sound of someone peeling duct tape, followed by a smug aha. But be warned, once you put on Ultra Grip, getting them off is a whole other challenge. May require professional removal and a slight loss of fingertip feeling. Ultra Grip racing gloves, because sometimes winning requires being a little bit sticky.
A loss of fingertip feeling. Be warned, fingertips may be removed. In
and then
along with
sound
the
of an audience member saying, "I'm oddly intrigued."
Huh, I would like to learn more.
And then it ended by saying, "Now, can George Russell overcome his grip issues and claw his way back to the podium? Stay tuned."
Why isn't doing George dirty like that?
I don't know. They picked on George a lot.
Wow.
I think the safety car's in this lap.
There you have it.
I was asking it this thread for like fake sim racing products because I think we could do infomercials for fake sim racing products.
Oh, we probably could. Yeah, that would be, yeah. Good. All right, we're coming up with a big backlog of work for both of us that neither of us is going to do, but
no, absolutely not.
It's great to think about.
Gonna have to get an AI assistant to do all of the AI stuff that we come up with.
Yeah. Bill Luxton.
He'll be back.
Doesn't have to. Well, if you're just tuning in now, I don't think anybody is, but you're just tuning in now, the Red Bull of MMR Slayerized careened into the wall a few laps ago. I believe it was lap 7 where we lost the second Red Bull. So we are now down to 18 cars on the day. And it is Shelly the Turtle after a few opportunistic pit stops. Shelly the Turtle and the Haas has gone from 11th in their starting position up to 1st. We'll see how long that holds for the replacement driver tonight. The burps have started. Ugh, the espresso burp. It wasn't even good espresso tonight either. Ugh. Sad.
Is espresso like pizza though, where any espresso is good espresso and then like good espresso is fantastic espresso?
No. Bad espresso tastes like battery acid.
Fair
Good espresso is great. Bad espresso, yeah, it can be very bad. You can burn it, and then it just tastes like just burnt dust. Like this one's just a little too acidic for my taste. I'm gonna have to figure out how to rein it in.
Add some base to it.
We're not sponsored by Nespresso, but we'd love to be. Espresso, call me.
Ooh, Shelly's warming up.
Oh, absolutely.
Gonna see when they decide to take off coming around Parabolica. No passing until I believe they cross the finish line. Game won't rule it a little bit differently, but looks like Shelly's just gonna go for it. So Rayway gonna get a bit of a run and a long slipstream to try and dive on the inside. Clearly sending it. Looks like Ayahuasca trying to go on the inside.
Ray brought the downforce package, but it was too much as the Alfa Romeo spins out of turn 1, causing another caution flag in sector 1. And it's Ayahuasca with terminal damage. Unfortunate for the Alpine in 3rd place. Took the inside corner there through the first 3 and just was unable to hold on as we have a scattering of the pillows, the crash pillows across the track early in sector 1. So back we go to the safety car. 1 car down, 17 to go. It is still Shelly the Turtle, followed by their teammate Final Flame up atop the grid. Not a great restart. Not great.
Not at all. Ray lucky to still be in the race. Ayahuasca must have had the issue further down, looked like past the corner.
Yeah, it was probably avoiding the chaos that that spin caused. Would be my guess. You know, some overcorrection, trying to get around. Who was it? It was Ray.
Ray was the one who was spun at the time. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Ray was absolutely shot out of a cannon. I wish we had replay available. Shot out of a cannon from that race restart. Shelly the Turtle now heading into the pits to switch out that hard compound. It's time. But, you know, I'm not sure if that was the tire compound or just the fact that Shelly did not get the jump they were looking for. But Ray found something on that restart and was able to slingshot past. I thought they had the arrow, and then we had a lockup and a pirouette. So, yeah, very lucky that Ray Ray is still in this race. Was fortunate to slide into the runoff and avoid all of that traffic that careened behind them. But as we saw, Ayahuasca did pay the price for correcting, avoiding that crash. So, another pause.
Looks like Shelly and Reimer going into the pits and Ray Ray coming out with medium tires. That is the first stop for Shelly, so that could play out nice for them in the strategy, although they did give up the 1-2 that they had at the top going through the safety car.
Yeah, that was nice, but I do understand, you do want to swap those tires out. But Shelly could have very easily waited until DRS was active again, especially because most of the pack jumped on the pit stop in the first safety car. You give Final Flame the DRS, give them the interval, and then head into the pits in the next lap. Little bit of a push for the teammate to increase your odds of retaining that first place spot, but such is life.
Tilly?
You could have done 1,000 different things, and you didn't do the one thing that I would have done.
I mean, would you have been at lap 11 though?
That's a very good point.
At Monza? Come on.
I would have been eating popcorn in the paddock already.
It is fun to see that viewer count sometimes click up as we have drivers drop out of the race. And very early on, and you said the drivers probably weren't paying attention, it also does happen where they'll often watch during quali and then we'll drop several viewers as we go into the intro because they're getting ready for that race.
I'm trying to read a bit through the paddock chat to see if anyone is saying anything. Final Flame saying, Lancy, thanks for that. I love the color yellow, especially on my floor. Sounds like Final Flame may have had an accident in their racing rig.
We might have an ad read for that.
Ray chiming back saying, please don't blame Lancy. I was sideways on the apex. No one could do anything. Final Flame then clarified before turn 1, just hit my side like I was invisible. So there was some contact between Lancy and Final Flame that we did not see while Ray was practicing his audition piece for the Nutcracker. Speaking of, Mitch, you said you had an ad read?
Yeah, well, you talking about the safety cars in this lap. We'll see how quick I can get it. Talking about the yellow all-seeing and having an accident. Drivers are holding on for dear life, but let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the full bladder on the racing rig. Sim racers, listen up. Do marathon sessions leave you bursting at the seams? Do those intense final laps have you tap dancing a jig? Say goodbye to pit stops of the embarrassing kind with the Pit Pass Personal Relief System. This discreet ergonomic device integrates seamlessly into your racing suit, allowing you to answer nature's call without missing a single shift. The Pit Pass features cutting-edge odor control technology and a self-cleaning nozzle. Simply activate the discreet fuel dump button and you're back in the race. Pit Pass, because even virtual victories shouldn't come at the cost of real-world accidents.
What was the name? The Pit Pass, We're back underway racing lap 13. We are officially at the halfway mark of the Italian Grand Prix, and it is Final Flame in the Haas coming down into turn 1. Let's try this again. Makes it through cleanly as Seye is close, but not close enough for another incident through the first chicane. It looks like most of the pack is cleared through, so we will at least get one lap here kicked away under full power. Brian Mosser gets ahead of Knuckles back in the mid. That was a great ad read, by the way. I would have just put puppy pads below my seat, but
that would be a solution as well.
It's not as clean.
Pit Pass Personal Relief System.
Pit Pass. Yeah.
I'll let you work that out through the rest of the episode. Knuckles is trying to take that spot back from Brian Mosser. He's about 2 tenths behind. Reimer in the Aston Martin jumping up over Chief Braids. He's going to have to work his way back up to the top. He dropped down to 8 after spinning out. when he was in the top 3 of the race, and then took a pit stop to drop down to 13th, but he was climbing his way back up. Knuckles sending it through into the corner. I believe looks like Reimer going to shift up even further. He's going to take 10th. Brian Mosser may have been trying to get DRS, but never mind, because I don't think it's active this lap after the safety car.
I'm not sure what the strategy was there for the Alpine, but a hard break as he went toe-to-toe with Knuckles allowed 2-3 cars to get past him. He's now down in 12th. Shelly the Turtle down into 17th with a pretty dramatic fall there in this lap. Unfortunate for the Haas of Shelly, but we do have a change in the lead. It is back to our qualifying pole sitter, Seye, back in the lead in first with Williams. Final Flame not far behind, still within DRS. I mean, the front 6 are still all within DRS of one another. Lancy holding on for dear life. And there we go, just breaching. We'll see if the McLaren will get the boost they need as a Ferrari gets up into 7th. Reimer making his way, making money moves as we see some debris flying off of the run. Who was that? We'll see if that was anything that warrants a pit stop. But Reimer making some quick moves. He is now up into 7th as Seye goes up into fastest lap with a 1:22.444.
Nice even numbers. Reimer was able to avoid the battle. He usually gets stuck behind those, but he wasted no time. Now he's 4.5 seconds behind 6th place before he can catch up to the DRS train of all of the other drivers. So we'll see if he's able to climb up there. I believe he did switch tires onto mediums. Might be able to take those to the end of the race. Think it's doable.
Yeah.
Doable, but it will be challenging at the end. We've seen several drivers spin under their own volition already. So he's going to have to hold that car together.
Yeah, not hard to do here at Monza, especially when you're as full throttle as you are here. Very easy to lose your way and spin out. You have to do the crawl of shame back onto the track, as we've said earlier. A lot of wide runoffs here. Not too many points, unlike this right here, where you could have a very quick, swift exit from the race with a rapid deconstruction of your car. Just ask Slayerized. Sorry. Lancy is definitely under DRS now. Is it active?
It does not.
It's not active. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, here we go.
It was hard to tell from that angle.
Final Flame and Seye going too wide again through the first chicane. They're still side by side as we head into the back straight of Sector 1. Will Seye be able to take the inside line over Final? He will not. Final Flame regains the lead of this race as they both peel away from Lancy in third. Seye going to try and keep it cool, keep the delta, and catch back up. They are by no means out of this race yet. But another slide there. Seye has been having difficulty in that turn specifically through today's race, and especially in qualifying. I wonder if that's one of the, what do you call it when the track is banked incorrectly? It's not banked in, it's banked out.
Off camber?
Off camber, and there goes Seye into the wall with a little pirouette to try and get into the sand to rejoin the race. Is that car okay? It looks as though it is. He yields to Isapro. It's a wrap. Sorry, it's a wrap.
I think the car is okay. That was quite the slide, and then darted across the track. Now he did have 4.5 seconds until Reimer caught up, so I believe he knew that he was able to do that. It looked like it could have been a scary rejoin, but pulled it off pretty well. Looks like his Raptor is going to go into the pits at that point too, so he should be on his final tires. Cake Thomas jumping up into 4th, and we have a caution. Who done it?
Who's moving? Saw some movement in the middle of the pack. Doesn't look like anyone is stopped, so we are back underway.
That pit stop and slide kind of jumbles up this board, though, because now DB to best in 5th is 2.5 seconds back of the leader group, and then Reimer 2.5 seconds back from him, then some bigger gaps as well. So Reimer has closed his gap a little bit, but still got a way to go if he wants to catch up with those leaders.
Seye definitely has a mountain to climb. Reimer definitely has some work to do. Both of these drivers obviously looking to get back into the top 3, but it is a daunting task with 10 laps remaining. We'll see what these two can do, but it is now Final Flame, Lancey, and Fire Up Flow in the top 3. Cake Thomas in 4th, looking to get past Fire Up to make this a McLaren 2-3 on the podium here today. Could very well do it. Ooh, don't lock. The Ferrari locks up to avoid contact with Lancey through turn 1. That was a nail biter if you couldn't hear it. Really, really cheeky move. I mean, it is advantageous to try something, to try the Honey Badger late break into turn 1 there. But it is such a technical turn 1 that you really don't have a lot of room to do that. So it is one of the biggest gambles, tosses of the dice that you can really get in the season, I think, is that opening chicane. I hate that opening chicane.
It is so incredibly tough, and just exploding one of the track markers was Fire Up Flow. That piece of foam is no longer there. It's all over the track.
Fire Up Flow just, plays snowman with the little foam pads. Cake Thomas is able to get by. It is now a McLaren wall up in 2 and 3, holding off the rest of the pack. Seye is out of today's race. Not sure what happened there, but the Williams has retired from this session as Cake Thomas heads up into first place. Because Final Flame and Lancey, the rest of the front, have headed into the pits. Capitalize on this final safety car. We'll see. Do they put on softs to head out this race with only 6 laps to go?
I believe 8 laps to go. Yeah, very interesting timing. The leaders weren't able to drop into the pits. Reimer had the freshest tires in the top of the pack and decides to go into the pits as well. Imagine all of them.
Hard tires.
An old hard tires at that.
Old pair of hards. Explain that one to me.
That could have either been a misclick,
a mistake.
I've done before several times. Sometimes that finger goes one more than normal. That safety car just chilling. It's gonna wait for a whole nother lap to join the pack. It looks like. I don't know. Maybe he used them all or used them up in qualifying.
Yeah.
Somewhere else in the race. Interesting. Maybe he used them in qualifying. I don't know. We'll have to find out after. Just what a choice. Cake Thomas too is gonna try and stick out. 20 laps on those medium tires at this point.
We've seen more out of a pair of mediums, but we haven't seen what Monza can do. Like, Monza is a different track than...
No, although he does have a 22-second interval.
Okay.
That's about the pit stop cost. He might be able to just slide out because those drivers are under the safety car speed, and you gain about 5 seconds back on a pit stop from that. I think it's going to work for him.
Wow.
What a move by not dropping in behind the leaders and, getting that extra lap. And the safety car was waiting behind like we saw. So he's going to rejoin in first.
Cake Thomas with an absolute expert strategy there through this safety car. 7 laps to go. And the McLaren played their hand perfectly. Cake Thomas has been a D1 driver, correct?
I believe so.
Full-time D1? I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% certain. Anyway, Cake Thomas, one of the driver names that we know very well, that we've been covering for the past year now. And yeah, definitely has the strategy, the brain for these kind of moves. That was definitely thought through. And that wasn't just a happy accident there. props to the MMR driver. We have a note from Paddock Chat from Seye reporting damage to the floor, side pod, and rear wing. And then some colorful language about this game.
I'm loving it. I don't know if the safety car is in this lap or not. I do have quite a fantastic ad read based on more of what has popped up today. I believe the safety car is sticking out for one more lap. I didn't see that little warning yet.
I'll keep an eye.
If not, we'll have a lap to do it, so
Yeah.
we'll have just 6 laps after the safety car.
You want me to throw to commercial?
Sure.
You're watching the Italian Grand Prix Midwest eSports Racing Formula One Division 2 on Nick and Mitch. We'll be right back after these messages.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Drivers are white-knuckling it through these final corners, and you can practically feel the tension radiating off the screen. But wait, are those heart-pounding overtakes causing a different kind of clenching? Is your racing seat starting to resemble a waffle iron? Does victory sometimes leave you with a delicate situation? Then you need the Zen Buns 5000, this revolutionary anti-clench device for the high-performance sim racer.
Is that where it ends?
Nope. This discreet cushion uses patented micro-vibration technology to gently massage those overworked glutes, promoting relaxation and optimal blood flow. No more numb cheeks, no more squirming in your seat. Zen Buns 5000 also includes a built-in aromatherapy diffuser. Choose from soothing lavender for pre-race calm or invigorating peppermint for those last lap heroics. The Zen Buns 5000. Unclench your potential, unleash your inner champion. Disclaimer, Zen Buns 5000 may cause excessive giggling during high-stakes moments. Back to the battle for the podium.
It's called Tickle Your Bum. Okay, I don't hate that one. Like,
No.
I know that this is like a joke that we're like trying to formulate these joke ads. That one wasn't bad.
No, you could build that into a
Yeah.
rumble like immersion type seating cushion where they have the base shakers for racing
Right.
rigs that vibrate the 4 corners to fill the tires. That would help because sitting in the same position for a long time does kind of impact blood flow, depending on your seat too. Like that can kind of mess with your legs, and working in the wheelchair field, you always want to be shifting position on your bottom to promote that blood flow and pressure. So something like that, not bad.
Not bad, Google Gemini. Not bad at all. And not bad either. We have 6 laps to go as Cake Thomas warming up those. What did Cake put on?
I believe most of them put on softs.
There we go.
Except
That
for
makes sense.
Reimer and he'd be the best.
Reimer doing Reimer things. Here we go. Only 5 laps remain in Monza. Cake Thomas leads as Final Flame ducks out, trying to see what the inside line looks like, decides against it. We're going to follow through, and we have a spun Ferrari. It's Fire Up Flow spun in turn 2, who will rejoin under Shadow, like 2 back from the back of the pack. Very reminiscent of what we saw with Slayerized and Reimer earlier as well. Yeah, sorry, not Slayerized, Reimer.
Oh, yeah, I was laughing at coaches comment in the ad or in the chat.
JR saying bum dums. Ha!
Could have been bum.
It coulda. All these butt jokes. The poop sheriff comment
It
on
started
that
it
ad
all.
read. So, oh, incredible! It came full circle. 8 years later, we're here full circle.
It looks like Lancey sneaking up on the inside of this too. I caught that in the rear view mirror, and then I jumped way past that. But McLaren looking to get that 1-2.
Let's go.
They're going to hold it for now, but DRS is probably going to shake that up a little bit. We do have a caution in Sector 3 and a virtual safety car as Chief Braids goes off track in Parabolica, getting the virtual safety car just as McLaren gets that 1-2.
Yeah, McLaren gets the 1-2, and then Lancey gets DRS, gets by Cake Thomas. So we did have a changing of the guards within the team as well. It is now Lancey who leads this race with a fastest lap to boot, as we are under VSC, as the Alfa Romeo of Chief Braids is scraped off of the track. Looked like a spin. We'll see if Chief is able to make it back into this race. We have not seen a session ending message just yet, but they are just making sure that the track is properly swept for these last 4 laps of racing. It's been an interesting race here today. I mean, it has been very spirited.
It's like
Shelly is out. That will do it. An early out for the Haas. 1 remains, and that's Final Flame up in 3rd. We may have a podium spot for the other Haas. It's been a very, very back and forth race. I mean, we've had a little bit of it all. We've had that amazing moment where we had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 going 2 wide, double stacked through the opening chicane down the start-finish straight. We had Reimer taking a little spin and absolutely mucking up the rest of the field for everybody else. Yeah, we've had a lot of ebbs and flows here tonight. It's been a great race. Final Flame trying to make it even better as he's trying to break up this McLaren wall, unable to get by Kate Thomas through the restart. Lap 24 of 27 is underway. Final Flame's going to pull everything out of the bag here to try and break through this wall, and it's going to take everything that he has.
I was checking on Reimer's penalty. He has a 5-second penalty. I believe Fire Up Flow does as well, so that'll drop him maybe out of the top 10 by the time this is all done. He no longer has a shot at the podium, but McLaren looking good for it. DB to Best sneaking up as well. I feel like with this track, thankfully, the finish line comes before the start of the DRS. So, I mean, we kind of saw the opposite last week, right, in Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Very long DRS section before the finish line. You can overtake in the final section. Safety car, though,
Fire Up
on
Flow.
lap 24. That might do it.
Fire Up Flow unable to rein in that horse, the Ferrari, taking a bow, an early exit here. There's 3 laps to go. They had an issue with Fire Up earlier, but it just wasn't their race here today.
Let's see if the car's still out on the track. See, Chief Braids is still driving around. We might get just 1 lap.
Ugh.
I don't know if we will. 24, 25. It might come in at the start of lap 27, so we won't have DRS for the rest of the race. It's going to be up to Lancey and Kate Thomas to defend that top podium spot.
I mean, this isn't very, very difficult track to run under the best of conditions. But you work in tire tag, you work in maybe it wasn't the aero package that you were looking for. The car might not be responding exactly how you want, or you're just fatigued from this long of a race. It's hard to stay and focus through all of these kind of safety cars. So you do see some people's focus waning a wee bit once you have stack after stack after stack. I believe Final Flame asking how many safety cars have we had? I believe it's 4 already.
This is the 3rd safety car, and BSC, which Ray just posted.
Yep. Thank you much. I do, instead of an AI ad read, I just want
this lap.
Here we go. I just want a quick not humble brag. I'm going to brag. This Saturday, very, very excited. I will be going down to Washington, D.C. to watch the RB7 run down Pennsylvania Avenue on its way to the White House, driven by none other than David Coulthard. So I can't wait for that. It's the first time that I will see a true blue, literally the Red Bull, a true blue F1 car under power ripping down the streets of Washington, D.C. So excited to see the 2011 championship car that Sebastian Vettel ran to victory. Very excited. It's going to be a good F1 weekend here. We have the China Grand Prix and that car in DC. We are underway, though. No Red Bulls on the top podium here tonight, as Final Flame has only 2 laps to try and take down these McLarens. 1, 2 We have a little bit of bunching in turn 2, but everyone appears to get through cleanly. DB DeBest and Reimer taking their time as they were kind of bottlenecking on the far side of the corner. Interesting how everyone kind of leaned to the outside of that corner instead of hugging the Delta.
This is going to be a fantastic race if they can hold it together for McLaren and Aston Martin. Ferrari in the lead with the driver's champion, but they have Israpper in 13th and a driver out. Aston Martin in second, which they're currently 5-6. Alpine in third with a driver in 12th and a DNF, and then McLaren in fourth.
It's going to be a huge night for McLaren.
They could both jump. It looks like DB DeBest, though, in the Mercedes was going to go right behind Final Flame and snowplow his rear tires up into the sky, but managed to avoid a collision as we enter Parabolical for the penultimate time as we start the final lap of the race.
Very good use of penalty.
It's a fun word.
It's a great word. I use it daily. Here we go. The Aston Martin. Reimer trying to get by DB DeBest. He does so. Up in a fourth goes the Aston Martin. Back in contention. Could we see Reimer reclaim a spot on today's podium?
Until the penalty applies, maybe.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the penalties are.
There's also that caution flag, though, that I was wondering if Reimer would get the pass just before the caution flag laid.
Oh. Yeah, I did forget that there's a 5-second penalty tacked on to that green machine, so.
Been a while since we've seen a race come down to the very last lap, though, for the lead. I don't know about the lead at this point. You got the two teammates. So Cake Thomas is doing his best to lower that gap, let Lancey take home the win. But Final Flame will still have an opportunity to attack as we enter. I don't believe he'll get DRS in this section since we're just out of the safety car, but he is inching closer and closer.
Yeah, we're going to have these fast straights here right at the end. It may be a race to the line. He is 2/10 back from Cake Thomas, and this McLaren 1-2. Final Flame pulling out everything he can to try and disrupt this grouping. Tell me maybe, and Anbu Mason having a bit of a squabble back in 8th and 9th. Here we go. It is Lancey 1, Cake Thomas 2, Final Flame in 3rd as he spins out through the grass across the line. There it is, DB DeBest taking 4th after Reimer's penalty drops him down into 9th, finishing. What a race from the McLarens. What a race from Final Flame, from Reimer. I mean, all of these top runners had a phenomenal show, even if they ended this race before the finish flag flew. That was a good one. That was a good race.
That was a very fun race coming down to the end, and a great strategy call by Lancey, staying out in the second to last safety car for a lap and then pitting after all of the other leaders had pit and able to get out in front. I think he moved up 5 or 6 spots, so I'm thinking he might get driver of the day. I didn't see that pop up already, but I feel like it happens before now.
Yeah, we may have missed driver of the day here today. That's okay.
How does it make you feel to see 2 McLarens on the 1-2 on the podium?
It feels so good. It looks like Ray Ray got driver of the day. The Cody's gave it to Ray Ray.
All right, I didn't see.
Interesting. Sure.
Where he moved up from 14th to 10th. That's a pretty good move. Lancey moving up from 5th to 1st. So I believe they moved up the same amount of grid spots. Give it to the lower down on the podium, I guess. But great races from him as well. Anyone who survives Monza is a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, still processing what a McLaren 1-2 looks like. Hey, who knows? We do have a sprint weekend coming up in China, so maybe we'll see a Piastri Norris 1-2 as Mitch looks like he's smelling a porta potty over there.
Hey, you can hang up those Sprint Race Champions 2024 banner all that you want.
And we will, darn it. Thank you very much for joining us for week 7 of season 12 here from Division 2. Thank you very much to Commissioner of MidWest Esports Racing, Pork Chops, along with our D2 stewards, Peter DRH and Lancey, who is taking a break, may no longer be that D1 steward D2 steward, as he has now acquired a McLaren seat for the remainder of this season. But thank you to everyone who enforces the rules after the flag has flown. Those standings that you saw at the end are preliminary and will be under review pending any steward reports submitted by drivers here in the next few hours. So next week, we will be back with Division 2. I believe we have a schedule that we can pull up over Mitch's face. Next week, we will be in Brazil for the 25th. Thank you. And we will still be here with Division 2. So we look forward to the race in Brazil. That is always a fun one. Another classic track, one of the greats. So to see these guys driving it once again will be nothing short of a treat. That race will be sponsored by MMR Slayerized, if I can read the tiny little wisp of a name on screen there. So thank you to Slayerized for sponsoring the 25th of April race. We will be back same place, same time next week for that one. But until then, be like JR and go through the backlog. Check out some of the other stuff that we have done, including a pretty extensive build out of the Tartiflet games since its inception way back in Steep in 2016, along with our Riders Report show that went through 100 episodes of the inception of Riders Republic, the Ubisoft title, and of course, all of our F1 commentary from just about 1 year now. We've rounded the 1 year mark from the first time that we called an F1 race. And what a year it has been. So, Mitch, thank you very much for putting all of these together every single week. And Mitch would not be able to put these together without the contributions of our YouTube members. So thank you very much to executive producers Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with executive producers, them, along with co-producers, Kill a Vapor, Captain Snowbeard, and Kirsten, and our fans and Fans Plus. They give just a bit of money every month to make sure that we have all of these fancy graphics and animations and transitions and, you know, audio licenses and backlighting and this Monstera. But no, they didn't buy the Monstera. But thank you very much to those folks. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. Let your partner, let your parents know to click subscribe. You will get a nice little blub blub like you heard right there. So please, by all means, interrupt our stream next week. That's going to do it. Mitch, final thoughts? What are you doing this weekend?
We'll probably be watching the race. I think practice 1 starts in 45 minutes. So
going to sleep.
Yeah, the race is at like 3 a.m. And then my cousin is coming down from Canada for the weekend, so I think we're going to a Pirates game on Saturday.
Go Bucks.
Top golf on Sunday. Some other stuff, but yeah, let's go Bucks.
That sounds like an awesome weekend. Yeah, we're doing F1 in DC on Saturday, and then I think Sunday I'm going up to Philly to skate roller derby with the Philadelphia Hooligans men's roller derby team. So we'll see. Maybe next week I'll be in a cast or a sling or some kind of thing, you know. But until then, that's the cliffhanger. See how busted up Nick is next week. But we will see you same place, same time for Midwest eSports Formula 1 Division 2 in Brazil next week. We'll see you on the 25th. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you then. Good night.